Welcome, welcome to the Startup Den session. My name is Ali Shahid from The Bench. I am the marketing director of the business and in charge of the team that's running all the digital campaigns that you see and the branding and all of that boring stuff for the event. So thank you for joining us today. Startup Den is a very exciting feature for us. We've been doing this for a few years now. And the idea is that the participants, the shortlisted participants will come on stage. They'll give a 5-minute pitch to our judges, who I will introduce shortly. And they'll give a presentation, which you'll all see on the screen. And then they'll be given 3 minutes Q&A with the judges. And at the end of, once all the pitches are done, at the end, we'll let our judges go through their score sheets, have a discussion, decide who's the one winner, or two. I think we're going for two. We'll do a winner and a runners-up. So on to our esteemed panel of judges. We've got Jordan Bray, who is the Vice President of Plug and Play. We've got Hasan, Haider, who is the founder of Plus VC. Mark Zawacki, who is the co-founder of Techne Infiniti Ventures, all the way from California. So welcome. And of course, we have Jonathan Worsley, who's my boss, the chairman of The Bench. And if we have microphones, can we get each of you to tell us a little bit about what you all do, why you're here?
Hi, everyone. My name's Hasan. I'm the founder and managing partner of Plus VC. We're a venture capital firm that invests at the seed stage across startups in the MENA region. We've done about 35 investments in the last year, so we're pretty excited about investing in this market. Here to look at great deals and hopefully maybe invest in a few of them. So, pleasure to be here.
Great, thank you. Great to be here. My name is Jordan Bray. I work for Plug and Play. We've done 1,600 investments since 2006 with 31 unicorns. We look at about 20 different industries, primarily B2B, and excited to meet some of you founders. And there's a few names I've already known for a while, and hopefully we can find some to invest in. Great to be here.
Hi, Maz Zawacki. Techne Kai is a venture fund headquartered in Silicon Valley, but we also invest out of Amsterdam, where I'm based, Singapore, Mumbai, and we just announced last month an office here in Abu Dhabi. We focus exclusively on hospitality tech, and inside of that is accommodation, F&B, travel, recreation, entertainment, so it's pretty broad. We're very excited. We have a young portfolio of 9 companies now, and excited to get very active in the region.
Thank you, Maz, and thank you, Ali. We're really excited because we've been doing this for what, about 2 years now, the Startup Den. So any way which we, as organizers, can bring startups, innovation, like you're going to be doing, showcasing to us now, and that can help the industry, is great for the industry. So we're so supportive of this sort of type of opportunity for you guys, and best of luck. So,
and Jonathan, you've obviously, as Startup Den, used this platform to find some interesting startups yourself. We were talking about Jalil earlier.
Yeah, indeed, I've been investing personally in startups, so that's been exciting. So, but not like these guys. I'm learning from them.
Okay. Well, thank you for all of our judges for being here. So without further ado, we'll just introduce our first startup. We have Karim Abboud from Klimato. And Karim, 5 minutes. You'll see the signs. This is your clicker. I'll leave the stage to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Hi, everyone. My name is Karim, and I'm here to represent Klimato. So before talking about the company, it's important to just put a bit of context. So first of all, we need to understand that 1/3 of our global emissions come from food. So in order to reach the Paris Agreement, we need to reduce our food emissions by at least 50% in 2030. So we can see here the importance for the hospitality industry that is looking to achieve their net zero emissions, and we're here to help them achieve these goals. So we have developed a tool that helps the sustainability and the hospitality industry in first understanding their food-related emissions. So we calculate their emissions on a recipe standpoint, understand each ingredient, what is the impact of each ingredient. Second, we help them communicate the carbon footprint of their menus. So you can see here, by the way, if you were having lunch, you can see that the menu is labeled, carbon labeled, so people can understand their food-related emissions and how they can make more sustainable choices in terms of food. And third, with more regulations in the EU, but especially here in the UAE around COP and in the GCC in general, we are seeing more and more regulations pushing companies in reporting their carbon emissions and food-related emissions. So as a software as a service, we have a subscription-based model where we have 4 different types of pricing. For Plus, Professional, and Premium, this is mainly suited for restaurant chains, schools, universities, small catering companies, and with, of course, limited functionalities. Of course, the carbon footprint calculator, procurement data reports, etc. But our main clients are the enterprise, and it's around 70% of our total revenue. And here we're talking about big catering companies such as Compass, Sodexo, hotel groups such as Hilton, Marriott, etc. So briefly in numbers, today we're 35 people based in 3 different, in Stockholm, London, and Paris. We are let's say we're the first, and we're the first company having more than 25 country-based specific databases, meaning that we look at each country and the database for each country, so we have very specific numbers on each country. So we have very specific results. And we're working with more than 150 companies worldwide across 18 markets. More than 10 million meals were calculated and reported on. And companies are able to reduce around 23% on average year by year their food-related emissions. So there is hope. The challenge is very big also. But we are seeing results for the past 5 years, and we're happy to be contributing to this sustainability journey. So what's next for us? You heard me talking a lot about carbon footprint, but also we're looking into communicating on other indicators, such as land use, fresh water, eutrophication, biodiversity. Those are indicators that are being pushed forward by EU regulations, but also US regulations, in order to have a more holistic view of the global emissions.
Final minute, Karim.
And I'm done.
Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you so much. You can stay on stage, please.
Yes.
We've got 3 minutes for the judges to now ask your questions.
All right. Quick question. How much money have you raised? And then maybe you could just quickly answer why your team are equipped to scale this business.
Yes. So we have raised. So our last round of investment was in March 2023, and we raised $5 million. The aim is to expand to the US mainly, and yeah, North America, and also the GCC. And the second question was? Okay.
Thanks, Karim. Could you elaborate on how that calculation is done? Is this one of those so-called food mile plays you're trying to say?
Yes. So we calculate the recipe. We look at the ingredient, the country of origin, and the quantity. So for example, for a hamburger, we look at, okay, how much meat am I using on a recipe standpoint? 150 grams from Brazil. Meat from Brazil, 150 grams. And we can see like different country-specific ingredients. And this is how we have the numbers.
Great, fantastic presentation. What are you looking for here? What's your goal?
So our goal here mainly is to expand to the GCC. We know that it's a very interesting market for us. We are already working with hotel chains in the UAE, but we're also looking into expanding to More hotels in the UAE, of course, but Saudi and the GCC market
So
in general.
looking for more clients, and you've raised the funds. You're not
Yes.
looking for funds at this stage.
At this stage, no, but we're looking to raise more money around in a year, in a year from now.
Okay, thanks.
Could you just give me a bit more information on the background of the team?
Yes. So the company started in Stockholm 5 years ago. And yeah, we, of course, in Scandinavian countries, I think the level of maturity was much more interesting than the rest of the world. But then we saw a very big opportunity in the UK and then in France, and this is how we expanded.
No, like who's the founders and their backgrounds?
The founders are based in Stockholm. They were it was a university project that expanded to be a much larger project. So mainly it's people from Stockholm who started the project.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Karim. I'll need to take the clicker back, please. Thank you much. Okay, that was our first Startup Den pitch done, and we'll quickly move on to Saujanya, who's from Neumo. If Saujanya, you can join us on the stage. Welcome.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Can you hear me? All right. So my name is Saujanya Acharya. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Neumo. You can call me Sal. So going into what we do, before we go into that, for the last 10 years, I lived and worked in parts of South Asia and as well as Southeast Asia. And during this time, I never had a credit card. And it wasn't just me. My friends and many of my colleagues didn't have credit cards either. And we weren't necessarily part of some outlier group. But in fact, as you can see in the map here, in most of the emerging markets, the credit card penetration is at around 5%. Now, what that means is most people, just like me, we didn't have credit cards. Now, it wasn't necessarily a problem when you were considering for just local transactions with local merchants. But I faced a lot of problems when traveling abroad and especially staying at hotels. Now, with hotels, I had problems in two parts. First was at the booking stage itself. I couldn't book using direct booking site provided by hotels or the OTAs like Agoda and Booking.com. With most of them, I got stuck at the checkout page when they required the credit card information. Now, without credit cards, I usually had to rely on local travel agencies, or if you have used Agoda or Booking, there is an option called Book Without Credit Cards in their website. And both those cases, I was usually limited with very little options, that too at a very high price. Now, secondly, when you're checking in at hotels, and this time many of you might have done this same thing, they usually ask you to put up a security deposit. Now, without credit cards, you usually have to put up a cash deposit. Now, for me, I usually carry a limited amount of cash for the local spending, and when I have to use that precious cash for a security deposit, that means I have less fun while traveling. Now, just because I didn't have credit card, I couldn't enjoy the seamless experience that credit card holders got to enjoy. Now, going back to this map, you may think that, okay, there is no credit card, so people must be relying on cash payments in their local economies. While that might be true to a certain extent, there is one hope in these markets, and that is the real-time digital payment wallets that are emerging in this region. Now, every market in emerging countries, they have one or two major digital payment wallets that are taking over the market. And we want to use these wallets in our solution. So just like how hotels can put a pre-authorization on credit cards, we want to enable hotels to put a deposit hold directly on customers' payment wallets in their home countries. So even without credit cards, they will be able to seamlessly book online, and also at the check-ins, they can put up a security deposit using their payment wallets back home. Now, hotels will face an uphill battle if they try to go to each one of these countries and try to integrate with them one by one. So that's where we come in. We will go and integrate each one of these wallets, and we provide a single API to the hotels. So what that means is hotels can easily put, a book with Neumo button in their standard checkout page. So when customers without credit card tries to book on their website, they will be able to simply click the book with Neumo button, and some kind of a web application or a pop-up will appear through which they could select their payment wallets back home and simply connect that using their email ID and password. And finally, they can approve the deposit hold requested by the hotels. And that is how we want to make it seamless for non-credit card users in the hospitality space. Now, my co-founder and I, along with 4 engineers, have been working on this full time. And we're building this because we need this solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was Neumo. On to the judges for your questions.
Great. Sal, thank you for that excellent presentation. So the problem you're solving is people who don't have credit cards. What percentage is that of people who don't have credit cards?
So usually when we have spoken with hotels, usually at the time of check-in, roughly on a daily basis, 10 to 20% of the people that are checking in do not have credit cards. So that is a number that's coming from the hotel side. But if you look in the market, like as I mentioned in the initial stage, if you're looking at emerging markets, almost 95% of the people do not have credit cards. And it's not just about not having credit cards, but in these emerging markets, people are not even caring about credit cards. They are so used to using digital wallets as their main payment method. They just want to be able to use that in other avenues as well. Yeah.
So just a question. Have you launched yet, or where are you right now in the process?
Yes, so we have roughly 130 merchants, and of those, 20% are hotels. We're also using it in car rental companies, travel experience providers. Some of the spas are also using it. So we are kind of in a stage where playing in a local level, but we want to expand in the GCC.
And when you mean local level, where does that?
So few merchants in UAE, few in South Asia, few in Thailand. So we're at a very pilot stage with these,
Okay, so
merchants.
you're acquiring the hotels individually every single time?
Currently, yes, but our long-term strategy is to go with the channel partners as well as some of the booking solution providers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sal, thanks. Great presentation. Talk to me a bit more about all these APIs. You showed 50 plus logos with those wallets back into Neo, and how's that going? What's difficult about it? What's the defensibility of that API strategy?
So in most, so we recently completed our integration with PayPay in Japan, and they have one of the most sophisticated developer platform. So all the API information is out there. But in many countries, that's not possible. So we have to reverse engineer some of these API. And that's where our defensibility comes in as well, because our engineers are able to move much faster. And another thing is the difficulty is we need to set up our own entity in some countries due to the capital restrictions in some of those markets. We have figured our way around, but we cannot be too loud about it at this stage.
And then what percentage of your business development efforts are being, spent on hospitality? Because you mentioned spas, car rentals, et cetera.
Yeah.
What does the split look like?
So at this moment, we would say around half of it. Because, see, the great thing about hotels is they're big and they carry a lot of name in that region. So when we go to hotels, they introduce us to some of these car rental companies. The spa's already there in the hotel in most of the market. So we see it as one of the major avenue of our growth.
So just one quick question. What is it you're doing here? What are you looking for?
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking to partner and find our pilot partners in the hospitality as well as travel industry. And I'm here for the business development and an opportunity to meet you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you.
All right, let's welcome our next presenter. We have Erika from Drink Dry. Very interesting.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Erika Doyle, and I'm the founder and managing director of Drink Dry. The non-alcoholic drinks market in 2022 was estimated to be worth 11 billion US dollars. That is an increase from 8 billion US dollars in 2018. The biggest chunk that is attributing to such growth is the sophisticated, non-alcoholic, premium adult drink, non-alcoholic beers, non-alcoholic wines, non-alcoholic spirits. Now, with that in mind, our mission at Drink Dry is to provide endless beverage experience that enrich mindful and balanced lifestyle. So I founded Drink Dry in 2020, and we are the first and premium non-alcoholic drinks marketplace in the GCC, with the intention to bring all the best non-alcoholic drinks brand that we can find globally and put them all under one umbrella. We are the largest one-stop shop, showcasing over 50 global brands, and we span our categories from non-alcoholic beers to spirits. As you can see, Corona Zero, I'm sure a lot of you recognize the brand. We are the exclusive importers and distributors of Corona Zero in the UAE, and we launched the brand on Drink Dry store in August. And between the 8th of August and 31st of August, with very small marketing budget, we sold over 8,500 bottles in about 21 days. And the best performing paid media ad was a 15-second video that was taken on a mobile phone, purely tapping into the brand and our know-how how to connect with the consumer. So we also have a really large, engaged, and active community across the GCC that passionately promote the brand through their social media, through simply word of mouth. And I think the last really important part here is that we are trusted by our B2B leaders and partners. And I think it's really important to bring that into the mix here as we are part of the Future Summit. And a lot of the things that I heard in different presentations, statistics, panel discussions in the summit stage in the morning was talking about the profitability and how F&B operators are struggling to keep up with their profitability. Now, the reason Drink Dry comes into play here and why our partners trust us is because we provide that incrementality to our B2B partners. So you have the same number of bums on the seats in your restaurant. However, if you manage to upscale your customer from a glass of Coca-Cola to 2 or 3 bottles of Corona Zero, you have added a lot of pennies into your check when you are dispersing to them. So currently, since in the last 3.5 years, we are now listed in over 350 F&B outlets and retails across UAE, Saudi, and Kuwait. So a couple of milestones in our journey. So as I mentioned, we launched in December 2020 with only 10 brands and 30 SKUs imported directly by us. We ended the year in 2021 with 55 on-trade listings, and 6 of them being in a prestigious DIFC location. And we signed our first major retail contract with Choitrum Supermarkets. We started off with only 5 stores, and within 9 months, they expanded us to 18 stores. Fast forward to 2022, we launched into 2 further markets in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, and we secured over 20 listings for our brands in the first 2 months. And following the success that we saw in the demand in Kuwait market, we also launched Drink Dry store in Kuwait. 2022 also saw us sign a contract with Rotana Hotels. So in September of that year, we rolled out Drink Dry exclusive menu in all the Rotana hotels. So 19 hotels translate into 45 outlets. And in their licensed ones, we took a quarter of the beverage menu. And in the non-licensed F&B outlets, we took a full non-alcoholic drinks page within their menus. Now, 2023 so far has been the most exciting year for us because we have expanded the team. We are now a team of 14 people across UAE and Saudi Arabia.
Your final minute.
Oh, thank you. So I'll just skip, fast forward here. Our business model is very simple and effective. We loop in the B2C and the B2B, so e-commerce, on-trade, and retail in here. The Drink Dry executive team has years of experience in terms of e-commerce, beverage industry, ex-Bacardi, ex-Heineken, ex-diplomatic and distribution background. Just a quick slide to show you our revenue in the last 3 years. So I think we're more than proven the concept and show the increase in demand from the consumer. And a quick roadmap into what we're up to. I think the 3 most important launches we still have for this year is launch in Saudi Arabia with our e-commerce. We are launching regional partnership with PF Chang's on the 6th of November, where you will see Drink Dry menu go live across Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Bahrain. As well as we're launching our advocacy program, which will be a B2B portal on our Drink Dry store platform. Okay, thank you.
That's very good. To the judges.
Yeah, Erika, thank you so much. My fellow judges here tend to be tech investors.
Yeah.
So what are you doing on the tech side?
Okay, so we launched, initially Drink Dry was launched as a marketplace, and this is where we wanted to scale up next year. When we launched Drink Dry Store, we had two choices. We're either going to plow money into the B2C side and launch a full-on scalable marketplace, or we're going to put money into scaling up our B2B operations, so bring in sales team, marketing, and actually generate some revenue from what we were doing. From what we see globally, and the likes of Diageo, Pernod Ricard, ABI, Asahi are going hugely into this space, and we want to be the first movers in the region in terms of e-commerce. So we are planning to launch, raise funds next year to launch our e-commerce side of the, to scale our e-commerce side of the business.
And then what's the revenue split currently between B2B and B2C?
Across all the markets, or UAE as an example?
Everything.
Okay, so for example, in the UAE, we are forecasting this year to generate about 1.8 million from the e-commerce alone. From UAE on trade, about 3.3 million, so that's hotels, restaurants, anything on-premise consumption. Brick and mortar traditional retail like Waitrose, Spinneys, we're not in Carrefour, but Grandiose and Choitrums, about 825,000. And then another part of the revenue that we are, something that we utilized in a much bigger way this year was something we called brand activation. So we have fully commercialized our website. So brands like Diageo and ABI are actually paying us to have homepage banners and features in new arrivals and so on. So we have secured over 330,000 dirhams in revenue from the big players to put their brands on our e-commerce. And then in terms of Kuwait, we have about 650,000 revenue across the channels, about 150 from e-com, the rest from B2B. And in Saudi Arabia, about 850,000 dirhams. Okay.
Thanks, Erika. Why do the big brands need you? I think of Heineken and ABI and Diageo and the others, and they have huge budgets, teams, in market. Why do they need you?
Good question. I think we came into the market before the big guys came. So if you look at Diageo, their main distributor is African and Eastern. If you look at ABI, their major distributor is African and Eastern. It's a duopoly here, right? And these guys 3.5 years ago were not interested in the category. It's not something that they were excited about. But fast forward to 2023, Drink Dry has now all the know-how in terms of product compliance. We know how to bring the products into the market. We have a hot audience that we have built over the last 3.5 years. When people think, or they Google, or they talk to their friends about non-alcoholic, it's automatically associated with Drink Dry. So something that we have done with ABI, particularly for Corona Zero, we managed to land a contract for exclusive distribution, and then we sub-distribute African and Eastern. So the way I look at the category, it's got to be a full 360. You've got to take B2B, you've got to take B2C into the market, and the bigger players don't know how to reach the end consumer. It's not something they've ever done, so that's we come into play. We manage to do it across all the boards. Yeah.
So you mentioned something interesting about your own brand.
Yeah.
What's the thesis there?
So when we look into what the next 3 years look for Drink Dry, maybe like say 2 years, 2024 and 25, something that we would be looking, you mean about the 2025? Something that we would be looking to do is to launch our own line of non-alcoholic drinks. We initially in our business plan in 2022, we had it planned for 2024. With the categories forever shifting, the goalpost is always moving, and we decided to delay it by a year purely because we see next year being a catalyst year for the big boys entering the Pernod Ricards, the Diageo. So we want to allow them to enter the space, trial, fail, use the money for marketing, recruit more consumers, and then once we have even more understanding on what the consumer wants and what kind of products they're looking for, we want to launch our own line in 2025.
Thank you.
Afraid we're on time now for the judges as well. Thank you so much, Erika.
Thank you.
Now, before we move on to Mona, and I'll invite Mona on stage next, just a reminder for those who are joining us now is that do stick around because the judges will decide the winner and the runner-up at the end of this session. So, and straight on to Mona, who is going to tell us all about ExploreTECH in 5 minutes.
Thank you. 5 minutes is the interesting one. I'm super, super excited to be here. Esteemed colleagues, judges, and fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Mona Faraj, and I'm excited to tell you about the story of ExploreTECH, the first digital marketplace connecting technology, vendors, and buyers in the Middle East and Africa region. The region is beaming with potential and growth, and that I don't need to tell you about. But it's highly competitive due to the varying guest needs, owners' expectations, limited resources, and the constant pursuit to increase efficiency and profitability. And technology plays a key role here, and that's where ExploreTECH comes into play. When it comes to the problem, it is not really equal because there are varying and very diverse personas of both sides of the stakeholders. So small, big, regional, global. So we can't really generalize. It's a mistake to actually generalize the problem when it comes to tech procurement. It is a true many-to-many scenario. ExploreTECH aims to be an omni-channel hub for everything tech in the world of hospitality and travel, where we are able to bridge the gap of knowledge and transparency that professionals are today facing. It's a place where buyers can source, search, compare, and procure technology, and where vendors on the other side can actually expand their reach, boost audience engagement, improve lead generation, and access a diverse and very fragmented audience. Our goal is to transform technology procurement by automating processes, reducing costs, and saving time for both parties. The approach is super and straightforward. Build a comprehensive and unified database of all well-known and new brands, such as the many that are available in this room, to include detailed information, updates, news, and views in a way, in a bilingual marketplace that automates the procurement process, or most that can be automated, and deliver it in an unbiased way. The winners here are the quality of the offering. It's not how much money is actually being put. And despite the digital focus that we have kept the human element with our voice of the expert. Among our many differentiating features, we've just launched last week, just for Future Hospitality Summit, we've just launched our blended search. So we've integrated ChatGPT in order for us to allow our users to search by pain point and objective and not just by product or category like most of the marketplaces, allowing them a better experience and an easier use of the platform. From our market study, the EMEA region has a potential 100,000 users for ExploreTECH and is growing at a remarkable 5% from an inventory of both hospitality and travel. Globally, we're looking at 2.5 million of potential users, out of which 350 is in our addressable market. The market is not static. It's growing both regionally and globally, both on the buyer and the seller side. And the lineup that we see today of startups is a great example of how the dynamics of our industry. Our business model is as diverse and as dynamic as the industry that we serve. We've developed a hybrid monetization strategy that includes subscription, add-ons, as well as on-demand services. It's modular, scalable, and we're expected to achieve a $490 per vendor per month and a $24 per buyer per month. Our traction to date has been extremely encouraging. In just 2 years, we've launched an MVP, we've tested it, we've run focus groups, we've ditched it, we've raised 2.4 million in cash, service, and sweat equity. And we have been able to list by today 435 brands and 1,000 plus products. Some of the early adopters, and they are many, have seen the potential that we bring to the table. Competition is really perceived because we have ensured that we differentiate and we just don't build another marketplace that focuses on a standard database a paper lead or a marketing platform. It is built by industry professionals who have lived the pain points of traditional tech procurement, which is extremely resource heavy. Our go-to-market is very much shaped by who we are as founders. Focus groups is a core part of our go-to-market strategy. We've launched our ET Conversions, which is our own event to connect buyers and sellers and connecting the digital with the human. We have an exceptional marketing team presented by our latest lead investors, and amongst all is our own network. Any team, any brand is all about the people behind it. So we are an interesting team of doers and advisors with an exceptional experience that expands more than a century. To achieve our milestones, we are here to raise $1 million. I forgot to say something very important. Sorry. One of our core milestones that we want to achieve is to build the tech stack builder and the automated RFI, RFP, which is guaranteed to bring that aha moment for our users, both buyers and sellers. And to achieve our milestones, we are here to raise $1 million that is very carefully split between development marketing that will allow us to reach our break-even point and embark on our revenue journey. We do exist for many of the startups in this room to actually grow and launch their products, not only in the Middle East and Africa, but globally. And I welcome the opportunity to be able to discuss ExploreTECH with you further. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Did I do 5 minutes?
Yeah, you're fine. You did well. Thank you. Oh, you want to keep it? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Mona, for that excellent presentation. Tell us about your revenue to date.
It's not one of our key targets, but we have raised so far from our early adopters about $180,000. We're very much still in the pre-revenue stage as far as we're concerned, but the revenues that we've generated so far from our early adopters just confirms that there is attraction. We've not gone to market as yet targeting the buyers because we're very much focused on building the solution. So when the buyers come, they can actually see the value proposition that we want to deliver. But that's the revenue generated so far, specifically from vendors.
Thanks, Mona, and great progress since we last spoke. Can you elaborate on subscription revenue versus add-on? So what is this add-on revenue?
Yeah. So
what's the split?
I come from a revenue background, so I'm a commercial executive in the hospitality industry, and we've learned very well that you always have to have your core, that is your reoccurring revenues as well as your ancillaries. So our reoccurring revenue comes from the subscription that is based for the vendors, and that is for them to be featured on the platform, even though the buyer doesn't know who paid me and who didn't, but it is my reoccurring revenue that allows me to pay my operating expenses. The add-on services are many. Some are for vendors, some are for buyers. So if we go for the vendors, we have a listing of add-ons related to analytics, news distribution, attending our events, localization of content, a number of them. And for the buyers, it is more related, and we've not launched it yet, it's more related to tech stack builder and automated RFI, RFP, which is where we want to automate the process, the admin-heavy process of RFI, RFP. That's where the revenue comes later on from our buyers. But we've not activated buyers' revenue as yet because we're building the content. You're welcome.
And then earlier in your presentation, I think you mentioned how much money you had raised, but could you confirm that?
Yes. So it's 2.4 million, and it's split as follows: $922,000 in cash investors. One of my investors is sitting in this room, along with a Saudi lady, one Emirati gentleman, and one very well-known travel agent in this market called Sadhguru Group. Then we have $1 million, which is vested over 3 years, service for equity, and that is represented by Living Room. So they are now leading. We've just signed them 3 months ago. They are now leading the marketing and communication and the drive behind the platform. Remember, we're an e-commerce platform, so inbound marketing and outbound marketing is very important. And then the balance, smaller amount, is my sweat equity, because I'm a complete 100% CEO on sweat.
Yep.
So that's the 2.4 million.
Thank you.
Could you just walk me through the process a hospitality group would have to go through to utilize your product, and where the pain points are that you're solving, and where you're generating revenue?
Okay. Good. Do I have time? Okay, very good. So your question broken in multiple. Pain point number one is, it is not really one single pain point. It is who you are as a buyer, as a hotel. So if we are talking about global brands, I'm solving their issue with time and resources. I'm helping them do the end result in a much smaller time. If you are an independent, unbranded, or a national brand, I'm solving the problem of knowledge and transparency, because you don't know what you don't know. We have a beautiful solution over here that you'll hear about it, which is, you'll listen to him in a minute. He has a solution for restaurants in this market. How does he reach the end consumer? So it's not possible. So that's from a pain point perspective. From a revenue generation perspective, as I said, there are the reoccurring monthly revenues, and there is the ancillaries as well. Did I answer your question?
That's
or?
fine. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Cool.
You know, in technology, there is 11 main categories, 83 subcategories of technology that house 1,100 products, out of which only 15 exist in Middle East and Africa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you so much. All right. Next, we have Bernd, but I've been asked to play a video. So let's get on straight to the video.
The restaurant industry is hard, and we all know it. I've been in the industry for the last 18 years, and now I'm building for it. I'm JJ, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Burnt. At Burnt, we're on a mission to reimagine F&B procurement. Now, what do I mean by reimagining procurement? The way we see it, procurement is more than just the act of ordering ingredients, but everything that's tied to it, from knowing my stock, to getting my delivery, and paying my suppliers 60 days from now. Typically, ordering from suppliers is done through phone calls, emails, WhatsApp, and in some cases even fax. Similarly, inventory management, calculating one's cost of goods, and understanding wastage is done through Excel sheets and legacy systems. We see every other industry having data-driven decisions, improving every aspect of their business. Why should the restaurant industry be any different? I believe it's super important to have people from the industry building for the industry. The thing about the F&B space is the people of the industry speak a particular language, and that language cannot be spoken by everyone. I'm a fourth-generation food entrepreneur, so I'd like to think I do speak that language, and therefore, we've built a product that actually drives value to the industry. For our beta, we've built a simple, intuitive ordering app for restaurants that tackles the issues highlighted in the first block. It's been just over 2 months since we launched our beta, and we've had great feedback so far, with over 800 orders, 100% core feature engagement, $300,000 in annualized GMV, on target to hit $1 million in annualized GMV by the end of the year. Now, let's take a closer look at what the beta looks like. At Burnt, we're building a simple, intuitive, back-of-house operating software that equips restaurants to reduce their cost of goods, streamline their procurement, and make better day-to-day decisions when it comes to their operations. As you can see, 3 clicks and your order is ready. Just 3 clicks. But what I'm really excited about is what we're cooking up over the next couple of months at Burnt. we're going to be launching Burnt's web version that will allow restaurants to automate their back-of-house operations from end to end. Here, restaurants are going to be able to make use of features such as automated payment scheduling, predictive inventory, and in-depth analytics, allowing restaurants to make decisions on a more granular level. Now, we understand restaurants have different needs depending on their day-to-day operations, which is why we're going to be launching 3 tiers of Burnt: Burnt Lite, Burnt Pro, and Burnt Max. Burnt Lite is for your smaller independent restaurants. Burnt Pro is for your medium to large independent restaurants and restaurant groups. And finally, Burnt Max is our enterprise-level solution for hotel restaurants and enterprise-level restaurant chains. We chose the GCC as the perfect launch market, given that in Dubai alone, you have 14,000 restaurants. And moving forward, we see our business model applicable in tech-forward food hubs, with the Southeast Asian market being our first major market, followed by North America. These markets have 4.7 million independent restaurants, out of which 3.5 million would be our addressable market. This is a $1 trillion market that is yet to have a dominant player. We have a lot of exciting things planned for the industry at Burnt. Feel free to come say hi to us at the LF Hospitality booth. Thank you for your time, and have a lovely day.
Thank you very much, JJ. That's right on time as well. On to the judges for any questions.
Hey, JJ, great. That was a fantastic presentation. So why are you here?
We launched 2 months ago, so we're looking for both introductions to restaurant groups, restaurateurs, people in the industry, as well as we're going to be opening up our angel round in the next month. So we're looking to raise $750,000.
Okay.
Could you just walk me through the competitive environment you find yourself in? You're not the only ones doing this.
Sorry,
Could you talk me through the competitive environment you have?
Of course.
Because there's several players now in the UAE.
Definitely. There's supplied out of Egypt. There's Sapi and Castle here, and some of the competition more globally, Reki and Choco. I used to work for Reki. I spent 2 years there. I learned a lot there. The biggest differentiator that we see is procurement is more than just the act of ordering. We see there's an importance in understanding inventory, predicting inventory, all the way till allowing suppliers to understand what they need to stock as well, depending on what inventory restaurants need. So we're focusing on more than just the pure active ordering.
Maybe you could tell me a little bit more about the team, how many people there are, and about the founder's experience and why you guys are going to crush it.
For sure. Me personally, I grew up in the restaurant space. My first job was in a restaurant when I was 12. My family's been in the industry for 4 generations. It runs in my blood. I cannot imagine myself doing anything else. I've also had the opportunity to work as a supplier as well in global procurement. I used to buy 3,500 containers of frozen seafood every single year for 3 years. And most recently, like I mentioned, I worked at Reki. I was handling monetization in the US and in the UK market for them. We're a team of 3 co-founders, myself, JJ, COO is Ria Karim, who's also my wife, and our CTO, who's based out of India. So we're a team of 3, and we have 1 front-end freelance developer, and we've been doing everything ourselves, and it's been great so far.
Great job, JJ.
Thank you.
How are you getting visibility into all these suppliers? I mean, there's so many of them. It's just a giant fragmented market. Is that one supplier at a time, and how does that scale up?
No. So the way we see it is, of course, it's the problem of the chicken and the egg, right? So I took a lot of learnings from my previous role at my previous company, and what we did was let's focus on the restaurant side first. So let's tackle the restaurants. Let's go to a restaurant. They have 10 to 15 suppliers that they deal with. Let's get them ordering from their suppliers and slowly build up the restaurant side. As you build that side up, these common suppliers are going to get more and more orders coming through. And what we're planning to do is by February, we're going to see which of the suppliers who've gotten the most amount of orders, approach them and say, listen, we want you to be the early adopters of our supplier product.
Yeah, that's our time. Thank you so much, JJ.
Thank you.
All the best to all of our participants. Moving on to our next presenter, we have Puneet from PerfectCheck. Puneet.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I think some of the speakers have already set a great context for me to take it on. In the morning, if you were getting nervous about what Mike from Hotstar had to say about profitability levels falling down, well, I've got good news for you because PerfectCheck is here as the world's first restaurant revenue management software. Nothing like this exists today. And the reason is exactly what JJ said. We are looking at restaurants which are used to looking at backward data, right? There is no forecasting that is really actively done. And as a result, optimization strategies, access to missed data opportunities, and all of those aspects just make it so complicated for restaurateurs who are time poor. Skill set is sometimes a challenge. And at the same time, even the training that we see is very focused on operational stuff like selling wine, training, service excellence, all important stuff. But who's talking about training that elevates the average check that server is delivering to a restaurant or a bar, right? And over here, actually, I am the co-founder of PerfectCheck. I also happen to be a restaurateur myself. So I own, operate, and one of my early stage partners, Mike's also present here, coincidentally, that I partnered with as an investor. So have first-hand knowledge of some of these pain points and areas. And this is where PerfectCheck really comes in. 20 years we've had this debate in our industry, and finally, I'm so happy after 20 years we are delivering a product that does precision demand forecasting for restaurants and bars, not just by table and seat occupancy, but by how many menu items you're going to sell, and what kind of demand you can anticipate. We are also making recommendations, and that's what differentiates us. Ultimately, all we are trying to do is take the pain away from the restaurant here. We're saying, you don't need data analytics people. You don't need a revenue management guy like you have in hotel guest rooms. We understand your constraints. So we are going to take away all that complicated stuff so you can focus really on elevating customer experience, engaging with your teams to propel them to deliver better. And at the same time, we will give you recommendations that help you every day optimize your restaurant profitability and performance in several ways, whether it's server performance, it's better table seat optimization, or it's just mastering your menu in terms of how you design your menu, how you recommend service items on the menu. All those aspects are going to be part of the recommendation model. We see this as a $2.4 billion market globally. At the moment, our focus is Southeast Asia and Middle East specifically, simply because we have great knowledge of these markets collectively between our founders and feel very comfortable with our industry connections to be able to accelerate our growth. Our focus is on full-service restaurants. We believe they are the ones who will be the first adopters, and therefore we are focusing on full-service restaurants, mainly large independent chains or restaurants affiliated with hotel companies, and about 35% independents. This development has not just happened because some founders and tech guys sat together and came up with a product. We implemented this stuff manually with hard work and labor in 400 restaurants, generated 4.8% in incremental revenue, 22x return. In fact, this data is outdated as of last month. I've put in 21x, it's 22x as of today, return on investment. And that's why we feel confident that people will be willing to pay us in a very tiered subscription model, which is very fair to the turnover of the outlets and is a subscription model. And not only that, one of the pain points is engagement on a monthly basis. Great companies engage. We want to do that with our restaurant partners. On a monthly basis, we want to get onto a call with them. We want to ensure they're well trained to take advantage of these recommendations, right? If I'm recommending sell more wine, how do you train the guy to sell more wine, right? So those are some of the areas where we are. And in doing so, we are partnering and resell arrangement with other data analytics companies, other such partnership to grow our brands. We are already have some Pioneer customers on board. One of my Pioneer customers sitting right there.
Final minute.
We've got a huge amount of point-of-sale contacts. Overall, we see this as a $25 million business in the next 5 years with about 6,000 customers. We dominate any player that exists today by a margin. And that's what is going to lead us to a success, along with my co-founders, who are all industry pioneers in their own right. One of them have just had an exit recently, a very, very positive exit from a guest room revenue management software. And that's where we see ourselves. So thank you very much. We are here to raise 0.5 million in seed, a lot of that in R&D, and a lot of that in growth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Puneet. And on to the judges.
Puneet, thanks so much. Just tell us about the team, and are they full-time now, or is it just yourself?
I'm pretty much full-time on the job as a chief operating officer for the company. My second colleague, who's just done an exit, is now going to fully focus his energies on the tech side of development. So growth and tech is being taken care of. And our third founder is going to continue to provide strategic advice in terms of marketing, strategy, investor relations, and so on. And plus, we have 3 developers full-time.
So I love revenue management space. We were one of the first investors in Flyer. Which
I love Flyer.
But when we invest in these guys, they were 2 data scientists. So, you have 3 co-founders. Is there only one person that has product and data science and technical background? Or?
I've just filed my dissertation for a master's in artificial intelligence from University of Cumbria, so I call myself pretty much elevated. I'm not a data scientist, though, but we do have 2 people on our team who are data scientists, so they fill in the gap. Moreover, my colleague Fabian, who's a co-founder, is data science, tech background, so he kind of fills up the gap for that. But yes, very good question. And great observation of a gap.
Could you just walk me through the existing solutions that the restaurants are using?
Excellent. The existing competitors are 2 nature. One is direct. So, and I don't have a problem naming those apps. Dynamite and Juicer. Juicer is very focused just on delivery pricing. PriceF only does pricing. Dynamite only does pricing. They haven't thought through the entire process and the life cycle of revenue management as it exists today. And that really drives profitability for a restaurant holistically, right? And then there are some third-party data analytics apps like Awero or InTouch Data and so on. And they're just generating analytics, which requires someone to sit full-time and go through this. Our app is available on the mobile, and all I want people to do, if you don't have time to look at the data behind it, just click one briefing sheet and just follow the recommendations. And the system will track even the actions of the decisions you take and give you a benefit measurement. So it's going to self-propel and keep people motivated from using it more.
Thanks, Puneet. What's hard or proprietary about your tech stack?
So the first thing is that in terms of the knowledge that has gone behind, each one of us is experienced for 25 years in revenue management. It's hard to replicate. Second thing is what JJ spoke about is it takes a different kind of animal to develop an app for the industry. You need to know or part of the industry. I have served tables. I have put up my sleeves and actually done upselling at a restaurant. So I know what it takes to be able to develop this. 20 years the industry has spoken about it. No one has done anything till we came into the picture and finally did something about it. So that gives us a lot of confidence, that while there may be a possibility of replicating it, but it's not easy to do that. The second thing is players like Ideas, Flyer, and so on, they don't want to get into this space because it's highly fragmented. And this is where we believe we will thrive because we nailed it.
Just a quick one on your raise. What's the valuation?
For the moment, we are looking at a safe arrangement. So valuation to be determined on the next round. Like I said, 14 months of runway. So our next round will be 12 to 14 months from now, where we are going to look at a significantly larger raise between $1 million to $5 million, depending whether we scale up to a global scale that stage, or we continue to remain focused on the geographies that we are on at the moment.
You should try to hire somebody from the airline industry that used to do RM.
I like to hire someone from Flyer. I'm very impressed with those guys.
Don't mess with them.
I'm just giving them a job. I gave them a
kidding.
contract for a hostel brand and a chain in Singapore just 2 days back.
Thanks, man. Great pitch.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Puneet.
Thank you.
That was very passionate as well.
Thank you.
We're just trying to keep on time, and we've got other passionate pitches left. So let's move on to Khalid from Gimly.
Thank you. Welcome to Gimly, where access to the world is just a single tap away. Do you remember the first time you used your tap to pay? The convenience and simplicity of touching your phone to a terminal and walking away with your groceries. It's magical. We're bringing the same magic to identity and access control. So imagine no more separate keys for your hotel and offices, no more replacements for displaced or lost keys. Just tap your phone and get in. We call this Tap to ID because we believe that identity and access control should be just as simple as tap to pay. Gimly is leading the way in transforming access control and identity verification in hospitality and travel. With our Tap to ID technology, we are making these processes more easy, secure, and seamless. Our journey so far has been marked with successful pilots and collaborations with clients, engaging with accelerators, and forging partnership with industry leaders. We have also secured some grants from the European Union. The problem is that the hospitality sector grapples with huge and unique identity verification challenges, which leads to lengthy and frustrating check-in processes and privacy concerns as well. Because handling personal data results in substantial compliance costs, and identity fraud costs significant losses to the industry. At the same time, there is a trend from travelers demanding more seamless experiences, such as contactless check-ins. This is where Tap to ID comes in. Tap to ID brings dynamic access control specifically tailored and catered for the hospitality industry. It allows for seamless check-ins, eliminating queues, and frees up staff time to focus on what's most important, which is improving the guest experience. Tap to ID makes verification easy and lets guests check in digitally and instantly, sending the room keys directly to their phones while preserving and following all privacy regulations. In essence, Tap to ID is all about enhancing efficiency, ensuring security, and elevating guest experience. So how does it work? Gimly enables decentralized identity verification and gives users full control over the data. Once their data is verified, they can reuse the data across all their experiences, hotels, travels, and more. It can be used on mobiles, it can be used on tablets, blockchain-enabled smart cards, access controllers, and smart locks. Yes. So as you know, the hospitality industry is huge. It is trillions, including the smart hospitality industry. And because of that, we are aiming to target a value of $750 million, showcasing vast potential of our technology. In hospitality, we offer professional services through our custom pilots and POCs. We provide a scalable B2B SaaS model, and we are partnering with leading hardware vendors in access control, making them an essential distributor of our technology. So far, we have concluded our first pilot with Neumo, and we have more upcoming with them. We are currently running a pilot with IATA, involving several airlines, and aiming to bring our offerings to hotels.
Final minute.
Yeah. Looking ahead, we plan to expand to commercial access control for offices and buildings. Of course, I don't do this by myself, but with a team of absolute magic makers, experience in decentralized identity, access control, and our shared love and passion for the hospitality industry. We have made significant progress, but of course, we cannot do it alone. That's why we're seeking an investment of $600,000, which will sustain us for 16 months. The funds will be allocated to product development, marketing and sales, and operations. Join us. We are open to paid projects, investments, and integrations with new vendors. Together, we will revolutionize hospitality and enhancing security, privacy, and convenience for all. Let's tap into the future with Gimly. Thank you.
Thank you, Khalid. Let's throw it to our judges for any questions.
Khalid, thank you for that. What have you raised to date?
Our main revenue is from the projects we have been running, like pilots and POCs, but also from the EU grants, around 250, 300K.
And you're based here?
Based in the Netherlands.
Sorry, based where?
In the Netherlands.
Okay.
Amsterdam.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's an app that people are going to have to download, right? It's not going to be embedded in like a native, Hilton, Air France app. I'll have to download a separate app. I'll have to download the Gimly app to use this product. Is that right?
No, that's exactly what we want to
avoid
because people are app tired. We are more focusing on integrations. Of course, we have our own app developed for demonstration purposes and pilots and POCs, but with an SDK or an API, you can integrate it directly.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Could you just talk me through your traction to date? You have just the POC with Neom. Is there any other customers using it?
So yeah, mainly now Neom. We are talking to some hotels, especially for example, we are establishing our presence also in the KSA in Riyadh. One of the main interesting parties is like mixed cities, smart cities, and also commercial buildings like the garage and where you have a lot of different facilities and different services. And basically, if you are looking to access control as an identity problem, it's not a problem of keys anymore. It's like because of my entitlement, I have access to these services. And with that, you're tackling a lot of problems at the same time.
Khalid, how do you think of the large IAC players that would already start to verticalize? So I think of everyone from Microsoft to Oracle to Symantec to Intel, McAfee. They all have IAC solutions, and they're all large enough now to verticalize in hospitality. Can you play nice with them, or how does that play out?
Yes, we're actually a Microsoft partner, so we offer also our services through Azure platform. And what we see is that we're not only access control, we are actually moving towards what we call decentralized identity, giving all the data back to the users. So for example, European Union is pushing for a European citizen wallet, which will be launched in 2025. And it will be mandatory for businesses to actually accept this kind of verification. So Microsoft, Sita, T-Mobile, all the big players are actually playing the same game, building on these open standards, which we also use. So in that case, we can just integrate with any wallet, and it shouldn't matter actually which wallet you're using at that moment.
And then how mature are the conversations with the airlines at the moment?
Sorry?
How mature are the conversations with the airlines you're speaking with through IATA?
Yeah, so IATA, actually, we're doing a B2B pilot, which is a bit outside of the access control, but we involve like 5+ airlines. And separate to that, we are part of IATA, accelerated IATA, which we have now conversation with 3 airlines. It's not mature enough, but we have good progress there.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Khalid.
Thank you.
I think we're doing good with time, so let's continue to our next presentation, Book Technologies by Arul.
Hi. Thank you very much for being here. At Book, we are enabling resellability for the travel industry. We are making it for the entire ecosystem, right from the hotels, for the traveler, for all the intermediaries as well. We all know there are 2 types of booking types, as such you call it, right? You have a refundable booking and you have a non-refundable booking. Hotels obviously love non-refundable booking because of the higher revenue assurance, while refundable bookings mess with their revenue forecast. Whereas from a traveler perspective, you love flexibility. You love refundable bookings. Whereas non-refundable bookings, you're typically scared of because in case you're not able to make it, you lose out on that money. Introducing resellable bookings. We're making an ecosystem where hotel rooms are resellable, where a traveler, in case he's not able to travel, he can actually resell his booking into an open marketplace. Whereas from the hotel side, there is a continued higher revenue assurance. So now hotels can move more of their inventory towards non-refundable bookings while enabling resellability to it, while the customers and the travelers are happy about the flexibility that they're getting with this model. And in fact, it's also comforting to the travelers that in case they make a purchase much, much earlier, there is probably an incentive for them to sell it at a higher price because the market prices have actually increased, thereby creating a secondary market for the hotel room bookings itself. We call resellability as a service as the Trojan horse, right? The problem that we're trying to solve is the way that the entire distribution ecosystem is completely opaque. It's broken, it's fragmented, it's multi-tiered, and that's exactly what we are trying to change. We are trying to change the way that hotels don't have either distribution visibility or pricing control across anything beyond primary sale. Now, we are specifically using blockchain technology to add the transparency to all the ecosystem transactions that happen, which means that hotel has pricing control as well for any transaction beyond primary sale, which is currently not the case, not possible with current technology. So at Book, we are creating industry vertical protocol where hotel room bookings become resellable, tradable, distributable, and transferable. That itself creates multiple ways of transacting across different channels, B2B, B2C, P2P, different mechanisms that can actually exist. Now, as a team, we are a team of 6 people. Me and my co-founder, Nikhil, we've been earlier working with multiple Fortune 50 companies, Accenture, Tata Group, KPMG. We've built for enterprises, sold to enterprises and consumer businesses alike, right? And we are second-time founders as well. Specifically, we have the expertise around blockchain technology, travel technology, and enterprise technology. We are backed by some of the best advisors in the industry as well. We are specifically targeting the online distribution space, and even within that, the urban sector, where we expect that the initial push is going to come by the speculative markets because of the financial incentives that are involved that we can provide to all the participants in the ecosystem specifically. And we are looking at a GMV of about $100 million by the end of first 5 years of operations. What we are actually doing here is something that we call as real-world service tokenization. We are converting every single booking into an NFT using blockchain to track and execute all the transactions that happen. From a user perspective, they're completely oblivious to what is happening in the backend because the technology is completely abstracted. You don't need to even know that there's blockchain in the backend. You don't need to know that there's a crypto wallet involved, cryptocurrency involved, nothing of that sort. Whereas from the hotel's perspective, there is zero change, zero technical upgrade, zero process change. Everything works the same way. The same APIs that exist today can be seamlessly integrated to enable a secondary market using blockchain. From a revenue model perspective, we have 2 streams. Primary booking, the first time that the booking happens when the NFT is actually minted. And for every subsequent transaction, we also charge a 3% for the resales that happen.
Final minute.
In addition, we also give 1% back to the hotel whose room is actually being traded. We've already onboarded about 1 million properties. Our technical POC booktrips.com is already live. We have access to about 500,000 rooms that can be actually resold, and we have partnerships and specifically looking at GCC and North America region. Now, one of the differences between what we are trying to do and what has always been done, the challenge Achilles heel in the travel tech space is going to hotel one at a time, right? Thereby reducing the way that you can actually scale. Because we're creating a network effect model, which is completely financially incentivizing all the participants in actually making real money. It's not about improvement or benefit. It's actually making real money in every single transaction. We do believe that all the hotels can be onboarded en masse. We've already raised $160,000 earlier, and right now looking to raise $1.5 million. So if there's any hotels, any online distributors, OTAs, our technology is a B2B2C platform where we can integrate your technology seamlessly into our platform. So most welcome to start building the Future Hospitality Summit.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Arul. Just take us through the size of the problem here.
So entire hospitality industry is about $1 trillion, right? And 30% is the cost of distribution. 50% is the online distribution share itself. So the size of the industry itself is about $150 billion, the way that we see it, right? While we are specifically targeting the urban sectors, 4-star and 5-star properties in the urban sectors, we are looking at an obtainable market of about $5 billion. So it's a huge problem, yes.
Could you just talk me through your current traction? You said 1 million hotels are already onboarded. What
So
does
we
that
have
mean?
a technical POC. It's like a mechanism to show how a tokenized hotel booking can actually work, which is called booktrips.com, which is already live. So for that, we've already partnered with Expedia, Priceline. Their inventory feeds into our system. And that's why you kind of specifically called out that there are about 25,000 properties additional, which enables us resellable inventory as well. So these are specific partnerships that we made with other players who are able to perform a name change, an API integrated name change back to the hotels, which is a critical piece to what we're building. So right now, we've been focusing more on the B2B side, supply acquisition side, and looking forward to actually onboard more distribution partners for this.
So this 1 million global properties are not onboarded to your NFT creation platform?
NFT gets created every transaction, but they're not necessarily resellable.
Okay.
Right? So the resellable ones are about 25,000 properties in North America, so all of Highgate properties are actually available.
Got it. Love the idea, big time. I think there's a huge opportunity in the travel industry to do this. Quick question, if a guest arrives at the hotel and the name change didn't take place, how are they going to address that issue?
That's
are they going to be
exactly why we are at 25,000 and not at 1 million, right?
Yeah.
So the 25,000 is the properties where we are able to send back a name change via APIs. That's the only prerequisite, nothing else.
Okay.
So those integrations, over time, we will have to keep doing it.
But as far as the customer service...
no process change. You just walk in. So what we do is...
No, but you're not the one that's going to be managing that. Like, the customer's not going to reach out to book. They're going to be dealing with the hotel or the OTA directly?
Yeah. So via the APIs, we take the name of the guest who is actually holding the NFT. 48 hours before the check-in, all tradability is locked. The name of the person who is holding the NFT is sent back to the hotel PMS via the APIs. So there is no process change whatsoever.
So it has to be outside of 48 hours?
Yes, the tradability is outside of the 48 hours. I mean, 48 hours is a constraint from the hotel side. Some luxury resorts like to call their customers 1 week prior, in which case we keep it a week. Some people might be okay with 4 hours. System, it's not a technology issue, it's a process issue.
Thanks, Arul. Talk to me about the sales objections with owner groups. They see this, there's a lot to get their head around. They don't understand NFTs, they don't understand blockchain. They kind of identify the problem, but they lean towards non-refundable cancellations. So what kind of sales objections are you getting from them?
From the hotel side, from asset managers, owners, I've spoken to multiple over here as well. There's no objection whatsoever. In our pitch to the hotels, we do not talk about blockchain, we do not talk about NFT. If at all they ask, how are you enabling this? Why was it not possible earlier? That's when we get into that detail. But otherwise, because we are able to provide the transparency of what blockchain can offer and a completely new revenue stream that they did not have access to, right? So every time a hotel room sells, we give 1% back to the hotel as well. So from their RevPAR, there's an opportunity to improve about 3 to 5%. So they see it more as a completely new distribution channel rather than a competing one.
And the follow-up question, based on an earlier conversation you and I have had, of course, they're buying back those, right? So they're, if somebody wants to, if somebody has previously purchased it, they can then look at their own inventory and buy it back and at a profit.
Yeah, I mean, the market is open, right? It could be a hotel who says that, you know what, I've got a large event coming up at my premise, my occupancy ratio has got a 90%, let me go and buy in an open market, pay $20 more, buy it back, and resell it at a $300, right? So the market is open. So it can be a travel agent, it could be a B2B player, it could be the hotel themselves buying it back. It's an open market as such.
Well, thank you very much, Arul.
Thank you.
I think we have 2 more pitches to go. Let's moving on. We have Osama from 30 Sleeps. Osama, please join us. Here you are.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Osama Shawky, and I'm the CEO of 30 Sleeps. I will take you fast on the presentation. This is how we started. I have a personal struggle moving from apartment to apartment while I'm changing the jobs. And then I went to Booking.com, hotels, Airbnb, and service apartment. Couldn't find something applicable for a family to live for 1 or 2 months. With a deep diving, I find the issue is massive when it comes to the accommodation side and when it comes to personal people like me and individuals and of course corporate clients as well. Here we introduced 30 Sleeps. So we are a digital platform with a human touch, facilitating B2B, B2C, and B2B2C 30 nights plus only. So we focus on long stay, and we focus until the one year rent. We're solving also a significant problem that faces most of the hotels and the service apartment and Airbnb. We benefit everyone from the 3 sectors. You can see we are extended stay specialists. We already identified 12 personas on the consumer and more than 10 reasons on the enterprise. We are in lower cost because we are lower commission. Trusted process, the guests pay directly to the hotels. We are exclusive rates and all bills included for the customer. And absolutely, we are free of cost, prime locations, and so on. We are appreciated by 3 of them. So we are 1.5 years, we got appreciated by more hotels and corporate and consumer side. You can see our business model is very simple. So we identify the partners from the hotel side. We agree the terms and negotiate the rates, showcasing the property in our website. Then we start the lead generation to B2C and B2B and B2B2C. Then we receive the booking inquiry, we qualify with AI, then a British team, then we move it directly to a guest introduction to the hotels. Guests pay the hotels, we get the commission. Sorry. We are trusted by more than 300 hotels in the UAE only, and we have more than 600 waiting lists around the Gulf region. This is what I mentioned earlier for the audience. So we have audience from all over the world, from luxury to mid and budget. You can see the 12 different personas and then the 10 reasons to join us from the corporate side. The most important, we achieved a lot in 1 year. So we are started in 22, we are 300 more hotels, we are 1,000 plus different stays options. 22,500 nights have been booked through 30 Sleeps. 500 unique guests, 80% is the highest conversion rate for hotels in the industry, and 60% of our returning customers. We generated GMV for 1.56 to the hotel, and out of this, 120 plus is our own commission. We grow in the whole sectors of revenue, booking, and partners year to year. This is our competition, so you can see that we don't compete because we are only one in the long stay. And the differentiation between us and Airbnb or Booking.com, that we are long stay focused, the range of products we have, the human touch, which no other platform is offering, the negotiated rates, the free service, and of course, time saving to everyone. As you can see, the market is huge. We only focus in Gulf, North Africa, and Western Europe, which is $65 billion. 10% out of this, which is a very conservative SAM, is 6.42, and out of this, 30 aimed to some around 264 in GMV, which is around 31 revenue, 4% of the market share by year 5. This is how we're scaling, so we are expecting to reach 11 countries in the 5 years, and then the top side, you can see the partners growing, and we started already generating revenues, as we mentioned earlier, and we are going to be profitable in year 1. Okay, thank you. And this is the team. I'm 22 years in experience in tech, 5 startups, 3 successful exits. I'm founding team from Do Telecom. Mark is 25 years in hospitality, and the whole team on the strategy and technical and commercial advisors from all over the place. This is the old presentation. I just got to know. This is Our current valuation by a third party is 15, and we are putting our valuation down to 10 million for the first round. We already secured 500,000. We are looking for, again, another $1 million, and we accepted from the smallest check, and this is how we're going to use the fund, and this is our exit plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Judges, questions?
This is the whole presentation.
It's right on time.
Yeah.
Wow, Osama, there's a lot of information there.
Yeah.
So are you saying the problem is at the moment that if I go to booking.com to find a long stay in the region, it's going to be impossible?
No, it is possible. But 30 multiplied by 1 day, that makes it, for example, $200 by 30 is how much? And while we are negotiating the rates for 30 nights directly with the hotels, and we realize the biggest issues which the hotels facing, that they're getting a lot of inquiries every day. We clean the inquiries for them, we qualify the leads, and we use a very good technology to do that. We are actually getting customers that all the hotels they are not getting because we have as SEO run in 300 largest cities in the world. So we try to change the issues which they are facing from all the 3 different parts to a profit.
And it's not a commission model?
It is a commission model.
So what is the commission?
12% at the moment, and we're moving to 15 with the next 600 hotels in waiting list.
Right, okay.
Could you clarify on your traction? You said you had 300 partners at 120,000 revenue.
Yeah.
And so when you go
net revenue.
Net revenue. And so when you go to 6,000, is that linear? You know, I'm trying to understand. It seems like a lot of work on partners to get to that kind of revenue.
That's very easy part. So we are 2 people, and one in CTO, and we produce already all of this money. And this is only in 1 year. Actually, the new slides which I shared with the team yesterday was higher number. So basically, we generate 1.56 a GMV for the hotels. Out of this, our commissions is around 120,000, which it used to be 8%, moved to 10% to 12% in no time. And is that answering your question? Or?
Yeah, it's a longer conversation. I'm just trying to understand how, on 300 partners, 120 revenue, you can scale up to 7,500.
So we receive a lot of inquiries, and we qualify it by AI first, and then a British team. And the AI learn from the British team on a daily basis. And this is how they qualify faster and faster. So we can serve up to 100 clients per day, and we are 2 people.
Okay, that answered it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And maybe you could tell us a little bit more about the technology stack. And
so this is a beautiful thing.
Like several times you talked about a technology you're using. Is it yours?
Yeah. So I exited 3 times, and one very important lesson I learned is first start generate revenues and then scale step by step. We're still a platform which is a web-based. We produce that much. And the next stage is including the AI on our customer verifications, on the partner side as well. And we are improving to enhance the user experience as well through the AI, like Mona. Very good idea. So this is what we're using at the moment. Very simple stuff to improve the system until we generate further so we can pay for ourselves. We are bootstrapped for the first 300,000. And we secure 500,000, so we're actually doing a lot with lower technology.
Got it. Great.
Thank you very much. We'll move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. On to our final presentation for Startup Den 2023. We have Marco from Xenios Academy. Welcome, Marco.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dear judges, it's a pleasure being here among an amazing lineup of fellow inspiring entrepreneurs. I'm Marco, CEO and co-founders of Xenios Academy, an edtech startup that uses AI, gamification, and neuroscience fundamentals to assist cafes, bars, restaurants, and hotels boost their profitability. We do this by solving one of the biggest and most persistent challenges that almost each of these establishments faces, which is the need for a time and cost-effective training program that bridges the skills gap among employees. As someone who worked in hospitality for over 10 years, I struggle to find distance learning enjoyable as an employee or motivational for my team as a manager. And that's inspired us to come up with a solution. You see, at Xenios Academy, we love a good mix of science and fun. Juliana, our CEO, is a scientist with vast experience in world-renowned neuroscience labs in California. She's the reason why we are so comfortable in applying those cognitive neuroscience fundamentals to our teaching methods. This is our secret sauce. We then use gamification to cater to the short attention span of this current workforce generation, and then we harness the power of artificial intelligence to tailor the learning pace to each individual preferences. By combining those elements, we start the training transformation, create a new and unique experience, empowering team and boosting the establishment's profit by addressing its two key components, which is increased revenue and reduced costs. We focus on skills that make upselling more efficient, while at the same time increasing customer reviews and boosting customer satisfaction and retention. But also managing the wastage and turnover will allow establishments to control their costs. Now, since the dawn of time, humans have gathered sharing food and experiences, reaching the hospitality peak with Xenios, which is its Greek ancient concept. That's where we are bringing our guests into the mythical world of gods and goddesses in ancient Greece, where our heroes are tasked to restore a mythical village's reputation. We then power our app with the latest AI technology and inspire some of the highest level of education inspired by the most prestigious universities in the world. And we create a curriculum of more than 4,000 bite-sized gamified lessons that vary from product knowledge, onboarding training, physical and mental health awareness, and personal development. But in addition to our courses, each establishment will have the chance to build their customized courses that perfectly align with company standards. Now, our main objective is to motivate employees to take on challenges, work together, and take pride in their accomplishments. That's why we celebrate both individuals and team who excel by showcasing their achievement on our leaderboards. Now, it's no accident that we are focusing on gamification so much. Its proven ability to boost retention, productivity, and motivation makes it an extremely efficient feature in successful distance learning solution. The amount of numbers of employees of the tourism sector makes this vertical a perfect opportunity. Furthermore, though, the distance learning solution is expanding in different verticals, and so it's paramount for us to also look around at different verticals. Like the wellness and fitness verticals or aiding in challenging subjects will be our first expansion route in untapped markets. But while branching out, we are also going to focus on really get a market share of the hospitality space through channel partnership, Mona, I see you, and B2C, and of course, government contracts with white labeling. We have a clear and detailed roadmap with clear KPIs to achieve this scalability plan. In addition, our revenue-based model is a subscription-based model that will allow establishments from small, medium, and large enterprises to come on board from the get-go.
Final minute.
Thank you. Our team consists of highly driven and hardworking individuals with the true commitment to our companies. Those are not just stories to tell here for the stage. Juliana, our CEO, is taking a sabbatical from her PhD in California, while Igor is, for example, leaving his job as a news anchorman in a national TV station to fully commit full-time to our company, which is still bootstrapped to this day, and with the MVP just in finishing production and ready to launch in the next month. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share our solution with you. And we start the first transformation of the hospitality industry training worldwide forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. We'll give it to the judges for a few minutes of questions.
Great, Marco, brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
So what are you looking for from the judges?
So not only we are looking, of course, to market ourselves and to get introduced to different hospitality groups, But we are also finally decided to raise our first external fundings, since we are bootstrapped until the moment. But our scalability plan really include the untapped markets and untapped verticals like the wellness and fitness. So we want to boost the scalability and the raise from the get-go. So we are looking at $2 million in raising funds.
And the valuation?
The valuation at 10 million.
Have you got any customers lined up ready to use the product? Or?
Absolutely, great question. At the moment, our CEO couldn't be here. She's on the way to Saudi because we've been awarded with another prize from the United Nations. And also she's dealing with a contract, a government contract. That's why we were mentioning government contracts, which is about 1.6 million over the next 3 years, and we are still negotiating the terms of it. But also we have hospitality establishments like hotels or restaurants in the Balkans where we started the company, and few restaurants here in the Middle East lined up to join us as soon as the beta is available.
And are they just like one-off hotels, or are you speaking to any ownership groups or brands, or are you going to each property and trying to sell this to them directly?
So the market is very, especially in the big groups, is they already have distance learning solution, most of the big group. So we are, of course, managing first to go into individual restaurants and smaller chains of hotel as well as smaller restaurants establishments. But we are really focused a lot of our effort on government contracts, white labeling, customized products, because that's what makes the difference. We can use our neuroscience fundamentals to training applied for catering a very, very particular type of training for the establishments.
And broadly, can you touch on pricing? How do you price it?
So the subscription-based model is, it will have 3 tiers. We are still negotiating the tiers, but we'll have 3 tiers with the basic tiers called onboarding, with only the onboarding training, which are gonna cater to small cafes, restaurants, bars that are really need for, they don't have an L&D department and they could really benefit from an onboarding training platform from the get-go. But then we also gonna have the pro and customized version with bundles of courses that can be featured together. Of course.
Thank you. I think that's time. Thank you very much,
so
Marco.
Thank you so much.
And that was the final pitch for Startup Den 2023. Thank you for all of the participants who've poured their hearts out, told us about their businesses, and are hopeful to be announced the winner today. So we'll give the judges a few minutes. 1, 2, yeah. And then, but before we do that, overall, let me ask the judges, how did this session feel for you guys? How were the pitches in general? What did you feel?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I hate when everyone has artificial intelligence in their pitch. So this was super nice. There was only 2 or 3 of those, but it wasn't really like buzzword bingo is what we call it. So I appreciate the, different companies and that everyone wasn't doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all great. High quality, good energy, well thought through. They were fantastic.
I really like the variety. Everyone's pitches were really phenomenal. So it was consistent across. I was pretty impressed.
I mean, bloody difficult for you guys to decide who's going to win, or us, who's going to win, because they were all fantastic presentations, so really good. Congratulations, everybody.
So, Jonathan, we'll give you the responsibility to tell us at the end of this all, and Inara will go and take down the names once you've decided. So we'll just give them a couple minutes. I think our judges are back, and seems like we have a decision. Is that runner-up or is that winner?
The winner. Well, actually, don't have the award. They're bringing it in right
Oh yeah. Okay, fine. So why don't we start with your comments and thoughts, and then with the runner-up?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was super great. Like we said earlier, all the startups, you guys came with amazing presentations, well thought out, and I think a lot of the solutions were particularly applicable in the Middle East. So that was one of the things we were looking at. We did come up with several companies that we were really excited about, and we wanted to give 2 awards, but we have to give a 1 winner. But the runner-up is Book Technologies. You want to come up here?
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Please.
We've got the runner-up.
This is the runner-up.
Yeah. We've got a prize as well over there. Let me just get your stuff.
We have a little prize for you. Congrats. Over here. Do the other judges want to come up too? I'm lonely.
So we have a few gifts. I'll help you carry them back, don't worry. Something from the organizers, from the bench.
A couple of pictures. Thank you. All right, and then now to the winner. So this one, we were really excited about all the traction and the potential with the business in the future. So we'd like to announce the winner for the competition today would be Drink Dry.
And I think Jonathan wanted to take it out, right? Yeah, he just take it out for you. That's from the bench. We also have a prize here, 2 tickets to any of the Yas Island theme parks from Miral. So those are your ticket vouchers. Thank you, Miral, for that gift. And yeah, that's it. And that's this gift, of course. Sorry.
So whilst I was going to say, whilst we had the runner-up and now the winner, it was an 8-way tie for third. I mean, we really should say all the other companies did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to say, what we loved about what you're doing is, of course, providing healthy drinks for people. I assume they're healthy. Yeah. But also going up against taking advantage of this opportunity before the big corporates come in, and good luck to what you're doing, because really exciting. So yeah, well done.
So congratulations to everyone. Really, I think there were several startups that we're going to reach out to for further conversations. So and congratulations, well done. Great stuff.
Thank you. It's empty. Oh, right. It'll be easier to carry in the bag. I'll leave this with you, Sally, if that's okay. Yeah, we can definitely do a picture, but let me just quickly thank everyone for being a part of this session. I hope you all enjoyed. And thank you to all of the wonderful startups who spent their energies presenting their very innovative products and put thought into presenting in front of all of us today. And we wish you all the best, and we'll see you next year for another edition of the Startup Den at FHS. Let's get all the participants up on stage if you all are still around. Let's do a big picture. and put it up on our socials. Are you all still around?